joined from Beijing by Mr. Nader Rong Hwan, a writer and political analyst. Thank you, sir, for joining us here on Think Tank. Sir, let's start off by asking about the rockstar welcome that was given to Macron. What tangible economic or diplomatic gains did France secure when it comes to rebalancing the persistent EU-China trade deficit?
Thank you very much for having me. Politically, there are many outcomes of this visit. Firstly, politically, after the friendly and candid and fruitful talks, the two countries agreed to enhance political trust. No matter how the external environment may change, China and France should always demonstrate the strategic vision and independence of a major country and offer each other understanding and support on issues concerning core interests and major concerns of the two countries. And also the two countries are China and France are independent and visionary and responsible major countries and constructive forces working to foster a multipolar world and promote solidarity and cooperation among humanity. So, secondly, economic outcomes. There are the two sides agreed to expand practical cooperation and will cooperate in continue to cooperate in traditional areas such as aviation and nuclear energy, and also expand a cooperation in emerging areas such as green economy and digital economy and biomedical and also AI. So the two sides also will also facilitate a balanced development of bilateral economy and trade relations, expand two-way investment, and also enable a fair environment for the enterprises of the two countries. Here, I want to emphasize that China is prepared and willing to buy and import more French good products. So there are a lot of outcomes of this visit, especially in the economic fields.
Well, other than the economic aspect of it all, now China has been known to be a strong partner with Russia. And do you think that this is a reason why Macron went there? I mean, to appeal to the Chinese, I suppose. Did his outreach somehow secure any sort of substantive shift when it comes to Beijing's position towards a path for a ceasefire in Ukraine? Maybe they could possibly find a way to mediate this ceasefire with the Russians.
Well, there are more consensus reached by the two sides between China and the president, and also there is no change in China's position stance towards Ukraine crisis, because we can see that in the talk between the two leaders. They exchanged views on the Ukraine crisis, and President Xi Jinping stated that China supports all efforts that are conducive to peace and will continue to play a constructive role in the political settlement of the crisis in its own way. And China also supports European countries in playing their role towards the establishment of a balanced and effective and sustainable European security architecture. So there are agreements and there are more consensus reached by the two leaders in this question.
So why did President Xi grant a rare personal escort outside Beijing, yet refuses to offer major trade concessions when it comes to Airbus deals? I know you spoke a bit about possibilities of increasing imports from France, but Airbus is an issue.
Here, I want to emphasize that we notice in the talks between the two leaders, we can see that China is willing to buy or import more French products. I think there will be more implementing of the consensus reached by the two leaders. Here, there are the products, the good French products, I think, include the Airbus big planes. So we can see that in the implementing of the consensus, there will be more French products imported into China.
Mhm. Well, even the lavish the nature of the display by the Chinese when it comes to Macron's visit, do you think this is a soft power sort of move intended to basically foster a closer European ties with strategic autonomy? As tensions rise between the Europeans and the United States, do you think this is a way for China to sort of attract the Europeans and move them or isolate them from the Americans?
I think the China and European relationship are not targeted at any third party. It's not its aim is not to isolate the United States, but it's really to enhance the independence of Europe countries. As we can see that the French president also emphasized that Europe should achieve a more strategic autonomy or independence. So that is not an issue about the relationship with the United States, but it's really a cooperation between the two independent sides, China and European countries.
Can we talk a bit about Japan now? They've classified, or the bold classification of Taiwan conflict, as they've said, is a survival threat. Fundamentally, does this shift Tokyo's defense role and regional security architecture? And what does this mean for the Chinese as well?
Well, for this issue, that there is after the provocative remarks of the new Prime Minister of Japan for the Taiwan questions, I think it's a very dangerous signal that Japan want to uh, expand or revive its militarism and
Mm.
also to revive its imperialism. So we can see that in the World War II, there are many. This also will open the wounds, reopen the wounds that for this country that are occupied by Japan's military forces in the World War II. And also, it's a very important, dangerous signal to destroy the international orders after the World War II, because
So,
Japan
do
is
you,
a defeated country in
do you
the
think that
war.
there's a real possibility then that this war of words could possibly escalate into real action on the ground and a full-on war or maybe a skirmish between the Chinese and the Japanese may happen due to the tensions?
Yes, now I think this period is the lowest level of the Chinese Japanese relationship after the founding of establishment of the diplomatic relationship between China and Japan since 1972. And what China do is to safeguard its sovereignty and territorial integrity, and also safeguard the international order after World War II. So every country in the world should also support these efforts, because, as I said, that Japan is a defeated country in the World War II, and is not allowed to possess its the weapons or to attack any other countries in the world, and also is not allowed Japan to possess nuclear weapons. So all the movements the new Japanese government do uh, is a very dangerous signal that Japan will not obey to the laws and international laws, and also this agreement, all the claimations, the internal claimation that uh, the, after World War II.
Well, as you said there, this is a low point for China-Japan relations. But China has traditionally been known to be a country that does business and is relatively neutral. But given what's happening right now, do you think that the trade ties between these countries, China and Japan, can survive what's actually happening? Or will it be continually accused as a weaponization effort between both countries, where both countries will somehow withhold, for instance, rare earth minerals or high-tech trade curbs on economic trade, basically?
I think without or without withdraw its her provocative remarks on Taiwan question from the Japanese new prime minister, I think is hardly survive. The trade ties will hardly survive between China and Japan, and also there is a very big negative impact on the economic relationship between the two countries, because what China do in this time, what China do nowadays is to defend its sovereignty and also its territorial integrity, because Taiwan is it's not the Taiwan issue is the internal Taiwan question is the internal affairs with Chinese affairs, and any interference from the Japanese side is not allowed, and also the Taiwan question. The Taiwan is a part of China that can be not divided from the Chinese territory.
So has this issue between China and Japan been brought up with President Macron when he was visiting China?
I think this issue, as I said, that unless withdraw the provocative remarks from the Japanese side,
Yeah.
China this issue will not get better in the current time.
Okay, that was Mr. Nader Rong Hwan, a writer and political analyst. Thank you so much for your insights, and thank you for joining us here and talking to us about the Macron visit to China.